Hey everyone, Bunsey the Frog here. Welcome back to Goals for Bunsey. I am starting things off on my original island here today for two reasons. One, I have some goals that I need to put up in the Hall of Goals. I've been very behind on actually doing that. And the second is something that popped up when I was filming and preparing for the 50 subscriber special. While I was hanging out on this rail line up here, which is, by the way, not there, I just would like to point out that everything in that special was done using too many items and single-player commands to do some enchanting. So I do not actually have a secret room under my Hall of Goals. Wink, wink. And I don't have the rail line done there. The nether is still as it always was. One thing that I saw was something that I'd never seen before in this world, and that's that this area is apparently within a snowy biome, which is something I have not ever seen, or at least did not notice. And I really, really would like at least 2 snow blocks so I can, get infinite snow blocks. It might be useful for the nether and, to cover my tracks when I'm doing blaze farm building or something. Yeah, either that or this is just something new in 1.1 that doesn't actually create, the snowy biome. I don't really know what would cause ice to build up around islands but not actually be part of a snowy biome. I mean, look at that. Ice is spreading. This has got to be a snowy biome. So I'm going to hang out in this area until it snows, or rains, perspirates, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to get me some snow. But first off, let's head back to the Hall of Goals so I can put up some signposts. Okay, here we are. We're going to have to put this onto 2 levels now because we have enough to do that. So let's see. The first one here is build an English castle. And that is given to us by Life Salmon. Excuse me. This goal would preferably also have a retractable drawbridge made out of a cobblestone generator. However, I don't really know how you would retract it back in. You'd have to break the blocks behind you as you were coming in the gate or something. We have what I'm going to call a challenge pyramid. Forgot how to spell for a second. That comes to us from NCivs. And the basic premise of this is more or less make a challenge map that involves, running through this pyramid. Kind of the same thing that I did with the Creeper Arena, except this one would be more of a dungeon rather than just an arena. Piston elevator in tree. That comes to us from Laserman987. That should be obvious enough. I think in one of my videos I mentioned that I should probably one day build a piston elevator to get between my branches, and Laserman made it a goal. This again comes from NCivs, and this one is I'm going to call it the launcher branch system, LBS. And this goal is to modify or build a branch on my tree that will launch you into either the ocean, or I have a little tiny pond to the side of my house over by my tree farm that might be in range of something. So maybe. We'll see if I can do something. This might also combine with this next goal. Man-made lake with underwater house. That comes to us from Jacob Romu. Okay, we still have a few more left to go. I'll start putting them here. So, KLD Boo wants me to make a roller coaster. With a reloadable cart system, but that would be something I'd do anyway. Now I need to scroll down my list here. Megalithic art piece. Oops. Sushi Fairy. And last is build a calculator. Oh. Calculator by RL Montgo. RL Montgo. This would be a calculator or an ALU, whatever. There is one other goal, but I don't think I actually want to put it up because that goal is to build something that is purely self-constructing and deconstructing, and I don't really know how you would do that in a way that doesn't require me to, say, refill TNT chambers or something. I don't know. Okay, I have not really actually decided what I want to do yet. So I'll hang around this area waiting for snow, and I'll come back to you when I've decided what we're doing. It could be any of these. So what are we doing in my lab world, you might be asking? It's a fairly simple answer. The goal that I was going to do today, I didn't actually put up on my wall because it was kind of a secret goal. Jacob Romu gave me the goal in my 50 subscriber special, and it was to kill Ensids in a creative way. Now, I have killed Ensids before. I got him to sleep on a bed in the Nether, but I don't know, killing him a second time, I don't know, he doesn't really deserve to be killed right now. So instead I'll show you what I was going to do, and then I'll put it out to you guys. I want you to give me some videos or some descriptions of ways that you've killed your friends in Minecraft. Because I'm sure that I can come up with a few ways and a few tips that you can use, but I think that there's a lot more creativity out there than what I can have. So let me give you the details of what I was actually going to do if I would have killed Ensids, because I had an idea in mind. So this is my simple airlock design. It is something you've seen before. Basically, it's just a one-way door that closes behind you. Pretty simple. The wiring is monumentally simple. Basically, just you have a flip-flop here. The only weird thing about walking down this corridor, though, is that you'll notice that there are 3 stone pressure plates here instead of the usual 2. Now, most people wouldn't pick up on that, at least they don't think. Or they might just think I'm trying to make a little bit of a pattern. But it's a little bit more of a devious pressure plate, because if I arm this system and then start walking, I get trapped and promptly killed. And I actually flew up a long way as well. So let's go over and inspect the damage, of which there should be none to the surrounding structure. So you can see here, basically where the death pile is. I can disarm the system to bring it back to order. Now, there are two things that you need to take into account here. The first is that... let me just get back on creative for a sec. The first is that it needs to be reset. And that it needs to be reset in two ways. One, with a pressure pad to actually ignite the system again. This gets popped off because if this was if this was here, the TNT would kind of rest in, well, it would rest in this space and blow up, but the water that comes down to douse in the TNT's effect, you can see it doesn't go into this space. So it causes a lot of destruction if it's not there. And resetting, I haven't actually thought of a better way to do it yet, but basically you have to come up here and place some TNT and replace the wool or whatever block you're using above there. I suppose I could make my reset mechanism more multi-stage, but oh well. So I suppose I can just quickly go over the wiring with you. Let's see, it's off right now. There's also, it could also be improved by having an indicator system somewhere, but yeah, whatever. So the buttons here on either side come into a T flip-flop here, and I won't really explain the mechanics of that, but basically whenever you feed it a signal, if I was to get a button, for example, oops, every time you feed it a signal, you can see that wool block moving, and that that has a torch underneath there. So when it's in this state, the power is transferred through this block into this wire and into this AND gate. The other half of this AND gate is fed down into the pressure plate block over there. So what happens is if someone steps on that pressure plate and this system is not armed, and it is armed right now, so let's, I guess, reset it. Oops. Okay. So when it's in this state, if someone steps on the pressure plate, this torch will go out, but this one won't because it's not right now, which means that this torch will never be activated, which means that the trap will never activate. It's so this system is a safeguard, so you can actually control whether the trap is always going to be triggered or not, because if you're using this as an entrance to your house and you just kind of want to safeguard against people intruding, then this would be what you would do. Let's see here then. This feeds into another flip-flop, not a T flip-flop. I actually don't even know what you would call these things. I'm not good at the naming. Anyway, basically what happens when power is fed into here, this thing turns off, which allows power to come out of this torch and feed through here. It turns on these two pistons. These two pistons on the bottom that trap you horizontally. And it comes up here, gets inverted, and feeds this piston, which retracts the wool block, allowing the TNT and water to fall down. And that signal is also fed to a pulse shortener, a pulse limiter, that's what they're called. A pulse limiter, and basically that thing's purpose is to take a solid signal. So if a solid signal comes into here, this will basically just flash for a little bit. So it'll come through here, transfer up, and get inverted. So when this power is on, this wire will turn on for a split second, which feeds up into all of the TNT. Basically, there's TNT right there, and feeding power to this block will activate it. When the TNT gets activated, this water will be able to start flowing down because these will all turn to entities instead of blocks. So the water will come down, and you've got to time it so that, well, you've got to have the water low enough. Sorry, you got to have the water low enough so that it'll actually be on your target by the time it blows up. If we had it much higher, then the TNT would blow up before the water could get there to prevent damage to surrounding blocks, because water lessens the damaging effect of TNT in terms of block damage, but it still will hurt your player if you have enough TNT lying around. And that's basically the design. It's, like I said, resettable. You can control whether it's on or off. That torch being off over there means it's on. Now it's off, so I can freely walk through. But if I press it again, then I will be dead, and I'll meet you back in the real world. Oh no, actually, I have a little bit of... I have some things I can explain to you in the lab world, so I'll respawn and then we'll go over some tips and techniques. Oh no, it's a trap! Whee! I love the fact that it launches you. So to start off the how to prank your friends into dying guide, the first thing we're going to do is go over some simple block updates. This is a very simple block update detector. It's kind of a flip-flop block update detector, so when a block is updated, it'll change state. So if I place a block, placing a block will always provide a block update. And when I'm dealing with redstone, if you make the redstone light up, which happens if you hit it or walk over it, it produces two updates, one when the light starts and one when the light ends. And go away. Whatever, you saw it go away. So this is useful on floors to make kind of switches where there isn't obviously, or to make pressure plates on the ground when there aren't any obvious pressure plates. Another one is ice melting. So it's a good way to check to see if people are placing torches somewhere to melt this ice. And when it does, we can just see that. Okay, I could wait for this to melt, or I could just break it. See, it produces a block update. When fence gates are opened and closed, or when doors are open and closed, they produce block updates. When records are played or taken out of a jukebox, that produces block updates. When potions are put into or taken out of a brewing stand, that produces a block update. It's important to know that the actual effect of finishing brewing potions will not produce a block update. Furnaces, when they start burning or finish burning, produce block updates. And finally, over a quick perusing of the items that I can see, cauldrons produce block updates when you put water in them, or when you make filled water buckets out of them. One thing that I did forget about was this. When you have a repeater, and it's powered and unpowered, that produces a block update. Also, anytime you change the ticks on the repeater, that does it. This block update detector also detects... block updates are detected by blocks adjacent, so anything diagonally as well will affect it. And of course, adding and removing blocks, those all produce block updates. So, with these tools, you should be able to go out there and be a little bit creative and do something hilarious. Now remember that the point of pranking your friends like this isn't to kill them and to ruin a bunch of work they've done. It's to play with them. So something like what I've done here, I believe that if I was not in... Let's see, it's unarmed. I believe that if I was not in armor, this trap might kill me. So let me just pop in. I'm in creative, so I'll pop down here. Replace. Oh, whatever. Replace this here. Arm it. Now this trap, what I was trying to say is, if you don't have any armor on, it can take away your items. So let's run over to the trap real quick. Let's disarm the trap. You can see all of my items are gone. They're not in here or anything. They've been blown up because it only took 1 or 2 hits to kill me, whereas if I had armor on, it would have taken more. And it's that last couple of blasts that destroy the items. So this is kind of a risky trap if you don't know that your friends are going to be wearing armor or not. Basically, keep things in a way where people can have a little bit more fun with it. So something like, oh, I need a pressure plate. Slightly modifying the trap so that it would be something like this. And just a drowning trap. That's perfectly fine because it'll kill them, but all their items will drop and they'll be able to get them back. And the good thing about this drowning trap is it's hard to fight against the current. They gotta have ladders to be able to escape. Breaking blocks is really hard. So if you use something like obsidian, they'll almost never be able to get out. And as long as you make the reset mechanism known about afterwards, they can come and recover their stuff. So unless they had tons of levels, they haven't lost anything, or they haven't lost much. And that is infinitely better than making them lose things, because you don't want to build animosity between friends. That's just not good. Okay, I'm going to pop over to my real world, place the signpost up, and then I will look forward to the kind of things that you can show me that you've come up with. And even if you're not actually going to kill anyone or prank them in some way, let me know if you have any good designs. Share them with everyone. Okay, I'll see you guys back in the real world in a second. Well, here we are back at the main base, or back at the first island. I keep on screwing that up. You think by now I would have learned. So, like I said, this goal is not on this wall because it's potentially not something I wanted Ensis to see if I was going to save it for later. But like I said, I don't really feel like he deserves to be killed multiple times again. So I'm going to take this, and we're not going to really call it the kill Ensis goal, but the kill your friends tutorial. Oh, well, this is given to us by Jacob Fromu. Okay, so I just wanted to go over something real quick. You can see I have I have 7 episodes left this season, and with 1.2 coming out, there have been grumblings as usual that worlds will not work, worlds will not fully transfer over. So I won't be able to access, say, the jungle biome or the panther mob. And I'm thinking that if that is indeed the case, I think I should finish up this season of Goals for Bunsey and then something. Either transfer the series to a normal Let's Play or start this over again in a new world. But in this world, I'm pretty well set. There's not a whole lot as far as challenges go. Basically, my only interaction with this world is to log in pretty much to just complete goals given to me by viewers. It's not as engaging as it was when I was trying to get everything from the ground up. And I think that ever since I've started playing more challenging adventure maps, so for example, something that's going up this coming Wednesday, it was incredibly fun to do. I've already actually recorded everything from that series, so by the time you see the first episode, the last episode will probably already be rendered and on my computer ready to upload. that was an incredibly fun series to do, and it's something I wanted to come in and work on because I felt like I was really, really working toward a goal. And that sense is a little bit lessened these days in this map, in this series. So I'd like your input, whether you think that transitioning to, say, a normal Let's Play might be okay, because that means that whenever I get a whim to work on basically anything I wanted, I could leave things half finished and come back to them a few weeks later. You know, it would give me a lot more freedom to do things at my own pace and my own projects. I mean, that, not to say I can't take suggestions from people for things to do, but it would give me a lot more flexibility, and I think that might help. So let me know what you think. If there's an incredibly strong reaction to not go forward with, say, dropping Goals for Bunsey as it stands and changing it to just a normal Let's Play, or if there's a big demand to not abandon this world when 1.2 comes out, if there is indeed a need to start new worlds in 1.2, just I will take that into consideration. But in the meantime, I think it's just about time we end this. So I'm going to go head over into my dirt hovel that has been here since the very beginning. It's been obviously messed with a little bit, but I'm going to go here. The sun is going down, so I think I'm going to take a little nap. And I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the series in Bunsey's Adventures. I incredibly enjoyed filming it. So I will see you guys then. Yep. Have a good one.